So we now have tickets to London on Wednesday. We have tickets to France on Thursday. In my heart, I think we'll get to London. I'm terrified that the relationship between France and Britain will deteriorate and we won't get back home to France. And also, if I'm honest, I'm very unsure about going to France, even though I think we'll have a nicer time because we have access to a garden there, etc. It's not our health system. They've had over 1,000 deaths, but they're further down the curve than Britain is. And of course, it is all likelihood if we go to France and our parents get ill sometime in the next month and the flights in the next months and the flights are, it's no longer possible to get back into Britain from France, that they will they'll die alone. I barely slept the last 3 days and I feel incredibly fucking gloomy. So I may be being completely melodramatic about this, but I felt for weeks this was very, very bad, which is why I wanted to stay here when the numbers were so low. I thought, and even my father said, you must do what you think is right for you. But things are changing here. I just read an article that in Chiang Mai, the police have set up checkpoints to do temperature checks of people. I mean, it's the theatre of health. It's not really going to make any great difference, but it tells you with the seriousness with which people are beginning to take it here. And if this thing takes hold, I'm a little question that the health service here will be completely overwhelmed, not least because most people have no means to pay to go into hospital. So it'll simply be an apartheid that the poor, I suspect, will be left to die. Reading about the 800 cases in Italy again yesterday, and the fact we're going back to somewhere which is 22 miles from the Italian border. This whole thing just feels like an absolute, it's like being trapped in a horror movie, and you kind of feel bad talking about it because you think, well, hang on, it's not just me, everybody else is going through the same thing, and they are. Everybody who's got old parents or whatever, and my anger about people still carrying on as if it doesn't matter and that they're not social distancing and everything else. I mean, and my anger now increasingly towards the government, who simply refuse to put their foot down, refuse to be the nanny state until it's too late. They've got to be the nanny state. People aren't listening. You've got to scare the arse off them. When AIDS came along, to her credit, Thatcher did scare the whole of Britain. I can still remember those adverts, iceberg adverts. We were all going to die. And in truth, the gay community, intravenous drug users, etc., did die in a massive way. The heterosexual community didn't, and it may well have been in no small part to that campaign. And if the old and the vulnerable die in very, very big numbers in Britain, then I have a horrible feeling we will look back and say we were too slow to scare people. It's a difficult balancing act. I understand you've got to give people hope, and right now there is absolutely no hope. But anyway, time will tell. But I'm not looking forward to the next 3 days because I just think you're going to be checking the news wire every second to see whether the French have shut the borders or whether suddenly flights cannot leave Bangkok for Britain.